Well, hello my friends. Happy Sunday. It's Shawn Petite. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is the project that we'll be creating today. I love it for so many reasons. Here are the supplies that we'll be using in today's project. So I'm starting on an 8x10 MDF board that has been gessoed because it is a piece that I am reusing. And that sheet there that you see is actually something that I created specifically for this project with words that really resonated with me for the project. That sheet is actually going to be in the resource library for free. I have links to the resource library, and if you are not a subscriber, email subscriber, you can sign up. I'll have all the links for you. So I am showing you how I make my paint dirty, and I call it dirty because it's just kind of grungy. I've got my colors out there, my yellow oxide or yellow ochre and my teal, and a little bit of Van Dyke brown and some beige. And I put that brown in there and a little bit of beige, and it just depends. You gotta kind of mix it up a little bit and see where you want it to go. But I wanted to dull down that color and just kind of make it grungy and softer, subtler. I just knew that I was looking for a different look than just the color straight out of the bottle. So that's what I did, and I wanted to show that to you because I get asked that question quite often, and I use it a lot in greens because greens are a hard color for me to find that I really like. So I'll add a little bit of Van Dyke brown to it. So now I'm just using my stencils to create some background, and I wanted that background to be soft and kind of vintagey. And that's again why I added that brown to it. And you can see how muted those colors are. Their colors are still there, but it's kind of grungy, and I love that. So I'm using my Mosaic minis and my Mediterranean mini stencils to just get some pattern. And I'm working my color around the piece in triangles, moving it across the piece so that I keep the color balanced in the background. Even though it's going to get pushed back, I still want to make every effort as I'm creating to keep the piece balanced, and every layer is kind of its own piece in itself, and so you want to make every layer pleasing no matter if it's going to get covered up or not. So I'm just using those two colors and those two stencils back and forth to kind of get my background and pattern and interest in there. These two stencils will be on sale this week. In fact, all of the stencils that I'll be using will be on sale this week. And links to the supplies and the blog and all of the photos and everything will be down below in the YouTube description box. So now that I've got all my color down and I've got it evenly balanced around the piece, I'm going to take some gesso and a brayer and just push it back and just kind of unify everything so that it's preparing us for the layers that are coming on top of it. And I love using a brayer because it's super soft and unpredictable and kind of scratchy and grungy, and that's what I was going for. So I've got some drywall tape out, and I've cut it down just a bit to kind of fit the area that I wanted it to be in, and I'm just putting it down with my Liquitex matte medium. So now that I've got the drywall tape down and it's dry, I'm just going to add a little bit of gesso to it. And what that does is it's unifying the piece, but it's also kind of really bringing out that texture in the drywall tape. Add a little bit of color to kind of separate the top from the bottom to make the piece interesting. And I knew that I was going to put a quote down there, so I didn't want it to be too busy, but I did want it to stand out from the rest of the piece so that quote would really pop. So now I'm going to put a glaze over everything to further accentuate the texture from the stencils and the gesso, and to kind of give it, again, that grungy feel. So I'm using Van Dyke Brown and Americana glazing medium to get my glaze, and I'm just going over and pulling it up with a clean rag. And now I'm going to come in with a little bit of alcohol and really kind of pull that back a little bit more, just to reveal some of the texture in the paper and in the paint and in the drywall tape. So I've got my letter stencil. This is actually a brand new stencil that I created just for this piece because I wanted the the font to be really modern and bold. And so this is called Modern Font. Again, it will be included with the stencils that are on sale this week. And I'm just stenciling out my quote onto tissue paper using a makeup brush and my archival ink in black. And I do this because this is a large quote, and if I did that directly on the piece and I didn't get it right, which I'm known to do, I'm known to misspell things, then I would have to start all over. And so this is just a super way to, one, be able to make sure that it's correct and get the placement right. I can't tell you how many times I've been crooked or off or whatever, and sometimes that's fine and I'm okay with that. But on this piece in particular, I really wanted it to be front and center and nice and even. So I've got my Silhouette Flower 3 stencil out here, and I chose this stencil. Everything in this piece has meaning. The message of this piece, the inspiration of this piece is powerful, and I hope that you stick around for the conversation at the end because it is so good. It's so important, especially for right now in the season that we're in. But this, I love this flower, love it, love it. But this is, again, adding to the meaning of the piece and adding interest and some softness because the piece is very grungy and there's not a lot of interest in it except for the background. And so the flowers add that interest and character and some softness. I'm going to go ahead and shade around or shade in the stem and kind of draw in just a few little leaves on the branches. And I'll shade in around each stem and give it some depth and dimension and a little bit of weight. So now that I've got those flowers stenciled in, and shaded, I'm going to go ahead and add my quote. And I just printed this out on a piece of paper that I had in my stash. And I'm going to put that down with my Liquitex matte medium. So I'm going to add some further shading around the piece and around my letters. And now I'm going to add this pop of bright to really kind of bring everything together. I'm going to add the flower blooms on my flowers here, and I'll add a few white dots to bring that white down and around through the piece so that it balances it out. But this pop of white really brings the piece together. White and black are excellent colors to help neutralize and bring a piece together. Once I do that, I'll add my white dots around the piece, and I'll add a little bit more shading around the quote and around the edges, and that is about it, my friends. I hope that you enjoyed today's project, and if you did, I hope that you would subscribe so that you never miss a video. Like, give me a thumbs up, share, all that good stuff. Stick around for the conversation at the end. It is a good one and so important. So my friends, have a wonderful day, and I will see you next week. Well, hello, my loves, and happy Sunday to you. Oh, I love this. I know there's not a lot to it, but the subtleness of it is perfect because of the message, the background colors that I did, muting down the colors and all that. I just positively love it, love it. All right, so I went over everything in the video. And I want to tell you before I jump into the whole meaning of this is, so I'm trying to think when you're going to see this video. So it'll be the week of Christmas, the Sunday before Christmas. The day after Christmas, the 26th and 27th, I will be having all of my workshops 50% off. That's for 2 days only, and that's it. And that'll be all of my Christmas sale stuff for the year, or holiday sale, whatever. So I just wanted to let you know that all the workshops are 50% off for 2 days only. Okie doke. Also, the stencils that I used in today's project will be on sale. And the sheet that I originally used will be free to you in the resource library. I made that up specifically for this piece, the words and everything, so you can use that for any project that you might like. And it's titled She is Resilient, which is perfect for this. Alright, so for this piece, I get emails every week with your stories, and I'm just so always honored to walk the journey with you and to walk alongside you and to be able to encourage you and share in your joy and share in your sorrow and share in all of that. And I'm just so grateful. But I thought for just a second, with some of the past emails that I got this week, that someone might need a word of encouragement, deep down into your soul kind of encouragement. And so there were two things that kind of resonated with me as I was kind of mulling over what I wanted to say and how I was feeling and the prayers that I were lifting up and all that kind of stuff. And I just know that so many of you are in transition or struggling with certain things or hurting and are in just a place of the unknown. And that is, for me, one of the hardest places to be, because things are changing for you. And like I said, you're in transition, and it's just, it can be 100% overwhelming, and at some point you think that you might just break. And I want to today to be the person that tells you that you're going to make it. And I found this quote, and it says, "When there is no enemy within, the enemies outside cannot hurt you." And so often when we're in that place of transition or hurt or difficult times, and you know, it can be various things, but when we're in that time, sometimes our worst enemy is ourselves. Because I know for me, and I'm speaking from my experience, because I have been in that season of, like, I just don't know if I'm going to make it another day. One of those. And I did, and you will. And you're going to get up every day, and you're going to, you know, maybe your victory that day is just getting out of bed. And that's okay. But I want you to know that we need to do the work on the inside of us to be able to work on the outside, to be able to deal with the changes that are happening around us. And often that work is in believing in yourself and talking with someone else, a therapist or a friend, a trusted person, to help you let go of that enemy that lies within us. Because I know for me, I can say, I should have, or why didn't I do this, or if only I had done that. All of those kinds of things I have said over and over, and it becomes this loop. And then old tapes from all kinds of voices come in and say, see, told you you weren't good enough, or told you whatever it was. And when there is no enemy within, the enemies outside can't hurt you. And I want to say there's a caveat to that, because let me tell you, we're human, and people can say stuff, and it does hurt. But when we don't have that voice inside of us confirming and playing that tape over and over, it's easier to get over. It's easier to say, that's not true. Or it's easier to say, you know what, that was right, and I'm going to do better the next time. So when we don't have that reoccurring lies that happen inside of us, we can deal with the change and the hurt and all of those things that go along with it. So that's why this came about, that you are resilient, you are strong, you are unshakable, you are going to make it through whatever you're dealing with. And I chose this flower because this is Queen Anne's lace, and I looked up Queen Anne's lace, and it's a weed. And people underestimate the beauty and the resilience of a weed. I have Queen Anne's lace in my yard, and I have pulled it up because it's growing in the wrong places. Over and over and over, I have pulled it out, and it comes back. And it comes back stronger, and it's resilient. It is resilient. It doesn't go away. It keeps coming back, and that's what you can do. You will go through whatever you're going through and come back stronger, more beautiful, wiser. All of those things are teaching. All of what we're going through is teaching us something. And if we can quiet the voices inside and learn the lessons from the situation, oh my gosh, the strength, the confidence, the courage that we get from from all of it is is invaluable and helps us on our journey of becoming. Last week I talked about becoming. All of that helps us in that journey. So when I was, I do this whole kind of research on my piece as I'm figuring out like the flower that I wanted, being resilient. And so I looked up the word resilient, and it says buoyant, strong, supple, tough, volatile, airy, effervescent, elastic, expansive, hardy, irrepressible, pliable, quick to recover, rebounding, rolling with the punches, rubbery, snapping back, springing, stretching, never breaking. You are unshakable, my loves. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not at all. I'm saying it'll be downright hard most of the time when we're going through a situation that so many of you share with me. Some things it hurts my heart inside. And, but you can make it through. You are resilient. You are strong. You are rebounding through all of the things. You'll move a few steps forward and then a few steps back through the process. It's how it works. But you will come back stronger like that flower. And you are going to make it. So loves, quiet that enemy within and know how valuable and important you are to those around you, to me, to the world. And remember how strong you are, that you can make it through. And be present in the pain and the hurt and the frustration and the anger. Be present. Feel it all. And remember that all of that is teaching you something. And when you're in it, let me tell you, when you're in it, you're like, I don't see the lesson. I just want to be out of this. I just want to be through it and done. And when you get to the other side, you're going to look back and be like, be so thankful. And I know that's hard. And I can remember being there saying, please don't tell me it's going to be better on the other side. I just want to get to the other side. I just want to make it. But I want to be the voice to say, you can do it. You are strong enough to make it through. All right, my loves, know that all the emails and the letters and the things that you send me, I do say a prayer right then and there as I'm reading. I say a prayer, and I continue to go back through and continue to say a prayer for each and every one of you. And I'm just so grateful for you, for everyone. And if you're in a great place, because it's not always gloom and doom and hard and all that stuff. If you're in a great place, be the one to encourage, to share your journey, to let others know, hey, I made it. I made it through. I did okay. It was hard, but I learned so much. Share that with others and be that voice of encouragement when you're in that great place, because life it happens. It'll come back around where you're going to need that too. All right, my loves. I hope your Sunday is awesome and restful, and I hope that you know how strong you are and how much you are loved.